Hey everyone, in today's video, I thought I would share with you what my plans are for my homeschool this summer. So if you're new here, I have two kids. They are newly turned 10 and finishing 4th grade and about to turn 13, finishing 7th grade. So we are not year-round homeschoolers. We mostly usually take a summer break, but sometimes we will do some unit studies or things like that in the summer. I always usually have them do math, but it's not typically our normal 4 or 5 hour school day or anything like that. And this summer will be very similar in that it will not be like our normal school year, but they will be doing some school every day. Our current school year, our last day is May 23rd. And I think we have basically 12 weeks of summer. 2 of those weeks, my kids won't do anything. The very first week after our last day of school, they'll have completely off. And then the last week before we go back in the fall, they will have completely off. The other 10 weeks, they will be doing some school 4 days a week. And when I say doing school, I mean maybe 60 to 90 minutes. And no new instruction. This will just be practicing things they learned this past school year, just to keep their skills and knowledge where I need it to be for when we start our next school year. So let's see. And I don't plan on really leading any instruction with them. This is mostly kind of independent workbook kind of work that all they will really need from me is feedback to check the work or to help them if they don't remember how to do something or, something like that. But really no new concepts being presented to them, no new instruction this summer. Now, I am not really including much reading, but they will be doing reading. We do that every night before bed for 20 to 30 minutes. And they will participate in the summer reading program at the library, but that is not included in like their schoolwork that they'll be doing every day. And let's see, along those lines, these books right here, if you watch me a lot, may look familiar because these were read-alouds that we were supposed to have finished this past school year. And these were ones my husband was doing, and they're not done. So I do have a hope that he can pick these back up this summer and just do a little reading before bedtime and work our way through these. This book, the chapters are not very long, and so it should be very easy to just read one chapter at night before bed. But I'm not taking these on. I am hoping that he will. We'll see, fingers crossed. But again, that won't be part of our daytime homeschool. Also, I would like to do read-alouds with my kids in the form of audiobooks this summer. I have a stack that I'd like us to get through. It will honestly just depend. I would like to do, a half an hour or more of time where we sit down and just create or do painting or art of some sort, and we could listen to these then. I don't know how frequently that will happen in the summer. Also, anytime we're in the car, we can listen to these. But I'll just show you the stack that I would like to get through this summer. But it's unlikely that we will get through all of these. But this is just my stack to pick from. I have 2 Jules Verne books. My daughter and I were going to do these as kind of like a book club, and we didn't get to it. But coming up in the next school year, we'll be referencing these books and Jules Verne, and so I thought it would be nice if they we're familiar with them. So we're going to listen to the audio. I always have the physical copy of the book though, because I always have one kid who is frequently interested in reading along with the audio when they can. So, or sometimes they want to go back and reread it after we've listened to it. So I always have the physical copy on hand as well. So we have those. Time Cap by Lloyd Alexander. I'm pretty sure neither of the kids have read this, and I thought this would be a good one since my son just finished Ancient History this year. I have Nothing But the Truth by Avi. I thought that would be a good one. Holes. Some of these I had hoped to do work into unit studies next year, and it's not going to happen. So we're going to do them as read-alouds. I thought this one could be fun, especially this summer, because we can listen to the book and then we can watch the movie. And then the last 2 are these Stuart Gibbs books. Now, one of these I had as for my daughter for independent reading, I think last year, but she didn't get to it. So I think these sound like a lot of fun, and I think they're intimidating because of the size, and I think that's probably why my kids haven't picked them up. But I think when we listen to the audio that they'll be much more interested. So I have that. Now, let me show, and then we also have this Kids Love Ohio. You may know that we did a lot of Ohio history for my 4th grader this year, and we tried to travel to different places in Ohio, and we've been scrapbooking those. And I would like to continue that this summer, and perhaps the kids can go through this book and pick out some places, and we can visit and scrapbook. But that's just all kind of extra, what I would consider fun stuff. This is kind of the schedule that I have made out. I'll cut out and laminate these so they can use a dry erase marker on them. But this is kind of what I have for each of them, and I'll show you what I have here in a minute. But for my 10-year-old, a math workbook, dimensions sprints, a puzzle book, we have unusually fun, there's an extra space in there, I need to fix that, which I'll share with you, some handwriting, editor-in-chief, type C, a group read, which I'll tell you about, and then possibly sentence analysis. And then my daughter's is very similar. She'll have math workbook, math UC, a puzzle book, vocabulary, Duolingo, editor-in-chief, type C, group read, and sentence analysis. It looks like a lot, but I don't really anticipate it, like I said, taking more than 90 minutes. So for her vocabulary, I have this doodle definitions book that I bought a long time ago. I believe I bought it from Timberdoodle. I don't even know if they make this anymore, but I bought it when she was way too young for it. And she's done a few, I think she's done like 7 of them. And so I just thought this would be something fun, but still educational that she can do this summer. Basically, you get a word, you get the definition of the word, it uses it in a sentence, and it shows you a picture, and then it shows you how to draw the picture to help you remember the word. So I thought this summer would be a good time to do that. So that's what she will be doing for vocabulary. She'll do 2 of them a day. For her puzzles, I just have this Mindbenders book. This is level 4, so she's technically a little bit young for this, but if they're too easy for her, I'll just grab the next level up and save this one for my son. But I think that these can be challenging, and so I think it'll be fine, but we'll see. She'll just do 1 of those a day. Editor-in-chief, we did half of this book last summer, and so she's just going to do the second half of it this summer. This is the grade 6 to 8, and this is just, practice. I've said multiple times, I don't feel like this is a good option for a standalone grammar program, but I do think it's really good for review. So she'll just do, what do I have that marked as? 1 page a day, and then she should finish this book up. And then, let's see, what else did I have on here? Oh, she'll be doing Duolingo Latin for 20 minutes a day, and Type C for 15. The kids they really need to improve their typing skills, and we really only did typing 1 day a week this past school year, and I feel like they need to ramp it up heading into next school year. So they're going to be doing that 4 days a week, just for 15 minutes, to hopefully kind of get them over that hump to where they're typing more naturally. Okay, so for math, we do Math with Confidence. We're doing the 6th grade Math with Confidence pilot program this year. And I have been supplementing that just because my daughter struggles with math UC, to give her another way to practice math with, the hands-on manipulatives, and just having it presented in a different way to kind of go over concepts and skills she's already learned, but present them in a different way and give her more practice. So we have worked through Gamma, Delta, and we'll finish Epsilon at the end of the school year. I still have Zeta, so this summer she is just going to be working through Zeta, and this doesn't take a real long time. Most of these are not new concepts for her. They're things that she has been presented with in the past, but it is good for her to see it in a new way, practice it with the manipulatives in a new way, and just, practice. So this only has 30 lessons in it. And the way we've been using it, the way we've been using Epsilon at any rate, is she watches the video lesson and she does one lesson practice page front and back and one of the systematic review pages front and back. And when I check it, if there were some major problems, there's plenty of other pages in that lesson that we could go back and do if she needs it. But for the most part, that's been pretty sufficient for her. We have the test booklet as well, but we're not going to use that this summer. I may hold that for practice or, you know, like daily practice in the future. But for summer, she's going to be working through Zeta. And then also, I just have this IXL Ultimate 6th grade math workbook. Again, to just have her practicing the skills that we learned this year, so that she doesn't forget them and she is good to go for pre-algebra next year. So those are the two things she'll be doing for math. And I think I have her doing, I think 2 to 3 pages in here a day, which is not a big deal because usually, oftentimes, like one page is more of like a little bit of a lesson. I mean, there's not a ton on each page, basically. So that'll be fine. And then that as well. So she has is that everything for her? I think it might be. Yeah. Okay. So I'll show you group read at the end. And then sentence analysis is just, we've been doing sentence analysis with Grammar Voyage from Michael Clay Thompson this year, and I don't want them to go all summer without doing that. I don't think that they'll do this every day. I haven't decided yet. Likely I'll just have them do this once a week to just go through and mark the sentence with the different, there's 4 different levels that they can mark, just so they don't forget all of that. So this won't take them very long. All right, let me show you what I have for my son, and then I'll come back to this group read section. All right, so for my 10-year-old, I have cursive handwriting. He's done cursive handwriting, but I feel like he could use just a little fine-tuning of his cursive. And I picked this up at Half Price Books for a couple bucks, and I thought, you know what, he can just do a page a day in here this summer. I like that it still offers them the ability to trace, because I think that's still important. So yeah, pretty simple. He knows cursive, he can read cursive, he can write cursive, he just needs to neaten it up a little bit. All right, we have the Unusually Fun Reading and Math for 4th grade. I've shared it a bunch of times. We have a Carson DeLosa book. Oh goodness, I can't think of what it's called. I'll link the video where I shared it in, but it's a 3rd grade one. I had picked it up at Ollie's. It has different like science topics and things like that in it that the kids do little activities with. That they don't make that anymore. And this is the closest that I can find to that. And so I have 4th grade and I have 5th grade. So I thought he's finished 4th grade. That would be a good time to do the 4th grade one. And this is kind of right up his alley, as that other one was, where there's just kind of a nonfiction type article. And then there's just different activities that you do with the article. So he will just do one kind of chunk of this a day where he reads the article and then he does the activities. And then the next day he can read the article and do the activities. So he has that. And then for his puzzle book, I picked this up off of eBay. It's the Beast Academy Level 3 puzzles. So he'll just do, what do I have scheduled? I think 2 pages. Let's see. Yeah, 2 pages. So like 1 page front and back a day for that. And we have been working through the Singapore math sprints. This is 3. I also have 4 and 5. And so he'll just do one of these pages a day as well. Now we have stopped timing this because, which is how this is kind of designed to be used, but he does not do well with a timer. It doesn't work for him. So it's fine. He's aware that he's trying to get through this as quickly as he can. But not having that timer there makes that easier for him to do. So at any rate, this is good. This is just you know, practicing that kind of mental math a bit. So he'll do one of those a day. I would like for him to have an overall math workbook as well, like the IXL one that I have for my daughter. But my problem is that the 4th grade one, because he uses dimensions, which I feel like is a little bit ahead of like Common Core grade levels, I feel like the 4th grade might not be enough, and I feel like the 5th grade is going to have some things that we haven't covered. So I haven't quite figured out where we're going to go with that. I may just get him the 4th grade version of this, and we'll see. I don't know. But so there will be a math workbook in there for him. And then he has editor-in-chief from last summer as well. He finished half of this last year. He'll finish the second half this summer as well. And he will just do 1 page, so 2 little paragraphs that he will edit. All right, so that is kind of the bulk of what they will be doing. I fear that it looks like a lot, but like I said, I really went through each and tried to estimate how long I thought it would take them to do based on what I know about them and how long it takes them to do that type of thing. And I do think we can fit this in 60 to 90 minutes. I don't think it will go over at all. So the last thing that I didn't talk about on here is a group read. And what I mean by group read, where did I put them? Here we go. I have a couple of books that I wanted to do this year and we didn't get to. And that is these 2, Step Into Your Power and Big Ideas for Young Thinkers. And what we've been doing like this last semester with our Short and Curly and some of our other books is that I will mark like each day of the week, maybe like 4 pages, and we each read them on our own, and then we can discuss them over dinner, over lunch, whatever. We can have the discussion. If there's questions to answer, we can do those. So I'm going to do that this summer because this doesn't take them long to do, to read these 4 pages, maybe 15 minutes. So I'll just mark 4 pages for each day of the week, Monday through Thursday, and they will read that for that section on their little checklist there. And then again, this was something that I was going to try to plan a unit study around, and it's not going to happen for next year. But I still want to read this because one of the books that we just finished, The Parker Inheritance, referenced the Westing game so much, and they're very intrigued and they want to read it. So I thought, again, I will just mark chapters when we're done, you know, with these. I'll mark some pages in the books and they will read that, and then we will discuss. I'll read it too. And then we'll discuss. We're not going to, like, I'm not going to plan a whole unit study around them. This is just, we'll read the book and talk about it as our schedule allows. So when I have a group read under here, that's what I mean. We're all kind of reading the same thing independently, just small little chunks, a few pages here and there. And then we can talk about it when our schedule allows. So that is everything I have for my kids for summer. Like I said, I'm afraid like it looks like a ton, but I don't think it is. I think slow and steady wins the race. And this, if we're just consistent with putting in about an hour, hour and a half every day, they'll work through all of those books just fine. And that will keep their brains kind of working in the way that I want them to this summer, but it's not taking away, you know, their whole summer. And it should be a much lighter 10 to 12 weeks than, you know, a regular semester of school. So that's what I have planned. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them for you down in the comments below.